Let's go imagining together to a place so old it's always new. We'll tell a tale, my friends, to you, and share a smile before we're through, and share a smile before we're through. Bum, 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 bum.
Today's story is about a man and a woman who loved children. Now, because of this, the man had to perform some very brave things. Have you ever had to do that, do something very brave? Well, I can remember one time when I was in second grade, I think, we used to play a game of football up at the end of my street every Saturday morning. Well, I never got to play because I was too little. Well, one Saturday, my brothers came up and said, "You want to play today?" And I said, "Oh, yeah, I do." Well, I go up to the field and I get a little helmet on, and I look across the field, and there's this kid named William Vothair. Now, William is about as big as an icebox. He's a huge kid. And when he would run with the football, everybody would run the other way. They're too scared to tackle him. Well, sure enough, on the very first play of the game, William gets the ball and starts running right at me. Well, everybody else goes the other way. Me, I'm standing there, and I decided that I couldn't run away. I had to stop him somehow. So he gets closer and closer, and I just bent down and I reached for his ankles, and wham! About a minute later, I wake up on the ground, and William Vothair is on the ground too. I had tackled him because the team needed me, and I couldn't let them down. I did a very brave thing. Well, today's story is about a man who had to do some very brave things for the sake of children. This is the story of Stan Bolovan. On the edge of a small village stood a simple cottage. It was the house of Stan Bolovan and his wife Anna. The Bolovans were good people who worked hard, but they were not happy because the thing they wanted most they could not have: a child. Anna often said, "Life is empty without children." Stan Bolovan agreed. "We have so much to give and none but ourselves to enjoy it." But the Bolovans could only dream, and their dreams of children made them sadder as the years passed by. One day, two travelers came by the Bolovans' cottage. One was an elderly woman with a soft and gentle face. With her was a younger woman who was patient and kind and held the older woman's hand to steady her as she walked. Stan invited them in. Anna made some tea and brought out some rolls hot from the oven. "You must be hungry. It's almost supper time." Anna and Stan were always delighted to have visitors, for it gave them an opportunity to share the few nice things they had.
"We are very tired, for we have walked many miles," said the older woman. "You are very kind to invite two strangers to your table, and we appreciate your generosity."
"Oh, it's a pleasure," said Stan. "My wife and I have so few visitors. Won't you stay with us for a while?"
"Thank you," said the younger woman, "but we still have many miles to travel. We dare not stay here much longer, though you and your wife are charming hosts. I fear we have lost the high road and only stopped to ask if you might be so kind as to lead us back there."
"It would be a pleasure," said Stan. "The high road is not far from here. I can see you there and help you find your destination." So Stan led the two women up to the high road. "Now, this is the way back to the next village. It's not far, and you can be there by dark." As he turned to go home, the elderly woman took his sleeve.
"We are not ordinary people, my good man. I cannot tell you who we are, but I can grant you 3 wishes. Anything you desire."
Stan was shocked. These two women were offering him anything he wanted. He couldn't believe his ears.
"What would you desire with your first wish?"
Without having to think about it, Stan shouted, "Children!"
"Well, then you shall have children. And for your second wish?"
"More children."
"Are you certain? More children? Very well, you shall have more children. And for your third wish?"
"More children."
"But you already have so many. A wish made is a wish granted. I hope you do not regret this, but when you return home, you will have quite a surprise waiting for you."
And with that, the two women disappeared.
When Stan returned home, he was indeed surprised. The yard of the little cottage was filled with children. The trees were filled with children. There were even children on the roof. Anna came out of the house with 2 more children in her arms. What has happened? I blinked my eyes, and the next thing I knew, I was surrounded by children. 100 children calling me mother. What wonderful thing has happened? Stan explained the 3 wishes and how the kind women had so suddenly disappeared. Well, it is truly wonderful, they said together. We must learn quickly how to be parents to 100 children. For the next few days, the Bolovans could scarcely catch their breath. There were so many things to do, so many children. By the 4th day, their food began to run out. Stan realized he had to go and find work so that he could buy enough food for 100 children. He could not let them go hungry. With deep sadness, he left his wife and children and set off to find work. He traveled the high road to the end of the earth where strange things can happen. There he met a shepherd who had a large flock of sheep. He spoke to the shepherd. I am Stan Bolovan, and I need work. I've noticed you have quite a large flock and thought perhaps you might need help. I am an excellent shepherd myself. The shepherd looked at him. I need no help with the sheep. I do have a problem, however. If you could solve my problem, I'd gladly pay you handsomely. You see, every morning at dawn, a dragon comes and takes 3 of my sheep. If you could kill that dragon, I would give you 100 gold pieces. Stan thought, well, I have never seen a dragon. I wouldn't even know how to kill a dragon. But then he thought of his 100 hungry children. We're hungry. We're hungry. He'd just have to do his best. I shall be glad to rid you of this dragon, he heard himself saying to the shepherd. So all night Stan stood by the edge of the flock. And sure enough, when the first rays of the sun colored the sky, along came a huge, hissing dragon. Stan's courage almost left him again, but again he remembered his children. I'm hungry. I'm hungry. He took a deep breath and walked out to meet the dragon. The dragon, having never seen a human actually approach him, was taken aback. He stopped and watched silently as Stan walked up to him. Dragon, you have stolen your last sheep, for the shepherd has sent me to kill you, and kill you I shall. The dragon had never been challenged. He didn't quite know what to do or say. He simply stared at Stan Bolovan. Listen, I do not really wish to take your life. If you pay me 200 gold pieces, I shall let you go with the promise that you shall never show yourself here again. The dragon thought for a moment, and then he spoke. Oh, I don't have 200 gold pieces. My mother keeps all the money. You'd have to come home with me. Then she could give you the money. Very well, said Stan, thinking quickly. I will come with you, but if you try to escape, I'll have to kill you. When they got to the dragon's castle, the dragon's mother was at the entrance waiting. Where are my sheep? I am starving. I sent you for sheep and you bring me a stringy human being? He's nothing more than a snack. Oh, shh, be quiet, Mother. He will kill us both if we don't do as he says. He's already spared my life for 200 gold coins. Will you please pay him for me, for my life? The old she-dragon looked at Stan. She was as wise as she was old, and she was not convinced by what she had heard. Both of you come inside. Tomorrow we shall talk business. So Stan entered the dragon's castle. He was given food and a room for the night, but he didn't sleep. He listened to the dragons talking downstairs. The old mother dragon was plotting with her son. Tomorrow, take this man to the well, get him to look down into the well, and as he does, push him in. As soon as Stan heard that, he crept out of his room, out of the castle, and found the well by moonlight. Beside the well was a rope. This he took to a nearby stump and wrapped one end tightly around it. The other end of the rope he lowered into the well. Then he went back to his room. Well, next morning, the dragon took Stan outside, saying,
Mother says we must bring some water from the well. You can help me.
Very well, but remember, we're supposed to talk business this morning.
Yes, but first we need water to drink.
So the two walked to the well. Stan leaned over and looked into the well, waiting for the dragon's push, and sure enough, he felt a mighty shove, and down he went, splash! He hit the cold water. In the dark bottom of the well, Stan felt about until he found the end of the rope to hang on to, and then he smiled and waited. Meanwhile, the dragon returned to his mother in the castle.
Well, that's the end of him. I pushed him into the well.
Good. I want you to go out and bring me 6 sheep tonight. I am starved.
Well, 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 shouted Stan from the doorway. And there he stood, dripping water. Please pardon me for dripping, but I seem to have fallen into the well. I'm afraid I drank it all up. I was thirsty. I think I'd better go to my room and dry off. The dragon was beginning to believe that Stan had superpowers. He looked at his mother. She, too, now began to worry.
We must get rid of him. He is too powerful. Tonight, when he is asleep, go into his room and bash him with your club.
The she-dragon didn't know that Stan had not gone to his room, but had stopped just behind the door to listen. Well, now he went immediately to his room and put a log from the fireplace in his bed. Now, over the log, he placed a soft sheepskin, then lifted the covers over all. That night, he crawled under the bed and made snoring sounds. Well, before long, he heard the dragon creeping up to the bed. There was a mighty thump as the dragon brought the club down upon the sheepskin-padded log. The next morning, the dragon and his mother were having breakfast and talking when Stan stepped into the kitchen. The she-dragon dropped her coffee, and her son gasped. Well, she quickly regained her composure and asked, her voice a little shaky,
Did you sleep well?
Oh, yes, except a mosquito or something stung my forehead during the night. The she-dragon was desperate. She had to get rid of this human being.
I tell you what, if you'll just leave, I'll give you 100 bags of gold.
Stan thought, I could never carry that much gold, but there must be a way. I accept your offer on the condition that your son carry me and the gold home. I have never ridden on a dragon, and I would like to tell my children what it's like to fly.
Agreed,
said the she-dragon. So off they flew, the dragon, Stan, and enough gold to last a lifetime. Over the fields they flew, but as they got nearer to Stan's house, Stan began to worry. If the dragon knows where I live, he might come back for his gold someday. Presently, he leaned to the dragon's ear. I think you should put me down here.
No, I'll take you all the way home.
No, I think it's not a good idea. You see, I have 100 children. They are mean and ferocious and have terrible appetites. I don't want to be responsible for your safety among my children. At that moment, they came within sight of the cottage, and the dragon landed. Stan shouted, Children, I am home! 100 children waving knives and forks rushed toward Stan and the dragon, shouting, We are hungry! Well, the dragon turned and fled, leaving Stan 100 bags of gold and 100 happy children. The dragon never returned.